Welcome, this is Martha with Martha's Creative Life. This is a channel where we get to learn together and be creative together. Today I have a special project for you that's right behind me. Somewhere, right there. There it is. It is going to be a self-binding placemat. So let's go ahead and get started and let's learn together and have some fun. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make your own self-binding placemat for your kitchen table. This measures at 14 by 18, but you can make it whatever size you would like. It really just is a personal preference on how large you would like to have it or how small you'd like to have it. So next I'm going to show you the inspiration for this self-binding placemat. So the inspiration I have is the placemats we had on our kitchen table. I honestly do not know where they came from. They're a couple years old, but if you look at it, the backing is the same. That's the binding on the front, and they've got the really nice mitered corners as well. So figured that I could try my hand at it. So let's go ahead and get started. What is neat about this project is you can make your placemat whatever size that you want it to be. For this particular project, it's 14 by 18. So that's the placemat size that I'm going to use. So you're going to cut out a piece of your top fabric and you're going to cut it 14 by 18. So I've already done that. If we flip it over, I have the batting, and it's also cut at 14 by 18. Make sure when you are cutting your top fabric and your batting that it has no wrinkles in it. Just smooth it out with your hand. What's really nice is these little grips on the back. It's even on this side here and on this side, and then the dots in the middle. Those grips really help. Okay, now we've got that cut. Got the batting cut off. And now we're going to go to our next step. So if you are like me and you like fat quarters, I have something to show you here. So this is a fat quarter. It came from a sampler box that I had gotten. But I wanted to show you the sizing. There's about a little over 3 inches, almost 4 inches on the sides here. You could use a fat quarter. So if you've got a lot of fat quarters and you really don't know what to do with them, here's a great idea. Make some placemats for your dining room table. Before I take it over to the sewing machine, I have taken some Wonder clips and clipped it around. You could even use pins if you would like. If you have safety pins like this, or if you have the kind that are curved like this, or if you have the ones like this. You can use either one of those and just pin them around. So I've just used my clips, and what I'm going to do is, this is where you can be creative. You can do any type of decorative quilting if you would like. All I'm going to do, because of the way this is made, there's a lot of straight lines in here. I'm just going to start sewing lines like this, and then lines like this. The first one that I made that I showed you, there was about an inch in between each line. So I tried not to be perfect. I just had fun with it, with the machine. So I'm going to come back and show you the result from that. All right, so we've got the top quilted. So all I did was a straight line stitch. I did not drop my feed dogs. I did not change it over to a walking foot. I just decided to do straight lines this way and this way. Some of them are a little bit wider, some of them are a little bit thinner. It's all about having fun. But if you decide you want to do some free motion quilting, you are more than welcome to. Have fun with it. That's what's so great about quilting and making projects. You got to have fun with it. So I'm going to show you the back because I didn't even worry about the strings. They got caught up in the stitches, but you can just see that it's little squares. All right, so that takes care of this piece, and now the next piece we are going to put the backing on. I do have a tip here for you. I use the clips all the way around, but just in natural ways of how the sewing works with the sewing machine, you are going to have pieces along here where your batting shows. That will be okay, but if that bugs you and you want to fix it, here is what I didn't tell you earlier. I need to trim off a little bit of the edges here because this one was made just a little bit bigger so that I could accommodate for these sides here. So let's flip it over and see how this side looks. Yeah, I'm going to need to cut a little bit off of each side if I want to make it the same size as my first one. And really, you don't have to square it up like this because your backing is going to become your binding and you're not really going to see it anyway. So it's totally a personal preference. Alright, so I need to cut just a little bit more off on each side. Alright, I'm not going to make you watch this. Be right back. Okay, so now we are going to put the backing on the quilt top piece here. So remember I told you I was going to show you how to self-bind these placemats. So here's the fun trick. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to center our placemat top after we've quilted it or in the center of our fabric, depending on how wide. Let me show you the original one. How wide you want the binding to be. You could make this binding wider if you wanted to, but if you look, this binding here is about an inch wide. You could make it 1.5 inches. You could even make it 2 inches if you wanted to. So that's where the creativity and the quick math comes in for fun. So if I want my binding to be 1 inch, this here needs to be 2 inches. Because what we're going to do is once we square it off, we're not going to do it just yet, but we're going to fold this piece in right up against the line here. once we've folded it and ironed it really nice, then we're going to fold it in again. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, where the magic happens. And then we will do a stitch all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute and cut my backing piece of fabric down to the right size, 2 inches all the way around. Okay, so now I have cut down the backing to, honestly, it's 2.5 inches all the way around. So I just took this ruler because it's a 2.5 inches and cut it down to about 2.5 inches all the way around. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take just a couple of pins. Make sure it's flat underneath. And really, I probably only need about 4 pins total. That should be good enough, because what we were going to do we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to attach the top to the backing. Okay, so we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. And that is what's going to attach it to the backing. Now we've got our backing quilted to our top. So at this point, remember I had showed you to make this 2.5 inches wide if you wanted your binding to be 1 inch. So now I'm going to show you a trick. So what we want to do at this point is we want to line this edge up against this edge here. We don't want it to be overlapping. We're actually going to cut it down to 2 inches now. Before it was 2.5. And that gives you wiggle room to make sure that you, while you're quilting the top down, that you don't lose some of your inches. So again, I'm just taking my ruler, since this is a 2.5 inch ruler, and I'm just squaring it up to 2 inches completely. Now we get to do something fun again. You need to have a ruler that's got a 45-degree angle here. Don't worry, I'm not a professional. You are going to take your ruler and you're going to line up this side here with the 45-degree angle. So from the end to the tip right here, it needs to be about 1/4 of an inch. All right. Now guess what you're going to do. Look what we just did. All right, we're going to do that to this side also. Now, this is what you have left. How are we going to make that into this beautiful placemat? Well, first, you're going to go to the iron, and I want you to iron down. You're going to fold it in, and you're going to just line it up right along this edge. Don't overlap it, just line it up against the edge. So you're going to iron all 4 sides down. Okay. Okay, now I've gone to the ironing board and I have ironed these inward 1 inch in. And so they're butted up against this. The best thing to do that I found is to take your clips and we are going to flip it over. So if you look at the back, I left it with my bobbin thread is white on the back. But these aren't going to be placemats that will be used as reversible ones. Alright, we're going to take the corner. You're going to take a 1/4 inch seam allowance and you're going to start here and go all the way down. And I would suggest making sure on this end here that you go back and forth a couple times and you do it here as well. What you're making is your mitered corners and you want those mitered corners to be stable, so definitely you know, do a couple of stitches. So you're going to do that on all 4 sides and I will be right back. Okay, so now I have taken all 4 corners. From the back side we lined up right here and we sewed 1/4 inch. The first thing you want to do, so just so that you can minimize some of the bulk in your corners, is to go ahead and trim off just a little bit, but just paying close attention that you do not break your seam that you just sewed. So it looks like you've got something very strange here. But again, let's watch it. Let's flip it over. And now you're going to take the corners of your top piece and tuck it in. now you have this. If you have a sharp tool like this, I want you to poke out your corners ever so gently. If you do it too fast or push it too hard, you can actually break through that point, but you don't want to do that. You want to make the nice point, but you do not want to break the seam. I'm trying to be so careful as to not to break the seam, but I want that beautiful pointed corner. And that's where trimming off the extra seam bulkiness there really helps for this to lay flat as well. Okay. All right, now that I've done that, you take your fingers and kind of rub this part down a little bit so that it lays a little bit nicer. And then if you have clips, you can go ahead and clip them so it'll lay down while you're sewing. What I had suggested that always when you fold the binding in on itself, if you line it up to the top and not let it overlap, then it lays real nice here as well. And the binding clips, you can use as many as you want. There's no wrong or right amount. Alright, now that you've got it clipped, that'll help to lay it down nice and flat. So we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and on this right here we're going to sew as close to the edge as we can without going over. So we're just going to sew as close to the edge all the way around. Okay, we are nearing the end now. So I have taken the clips off after I did a nice beautiful seam right around here, all the way around. So if you flip it over, because I used white bobbin thread that shows on the back, but that gives you an idea of what it looks like on the back as well. So it trimmed up all the little pieces of thread, and now you have a beautiful, very professional looking, in my opinion, placemat for your table. So what do you think? I thought they turned out beautiful. They're both unique in the sense that the way that the fabric is laid out, it's completely different. The first one that I made, I used red fabric, but for this tutorial I thought I would show you it in black fabric, or not fabric, in the black thread, and that way you could see it better. So leave me a comment, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I am enjoying sharing with you little projects. Let me know if you make your own placemats for your home, or you make them for a special gift. these would turn out so well. I will take a picture for you so that you can see what they look like on the island that my husband made. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.